do I tell that someone is truly in love with me? Is there anything wrong when a young man says, I love her because of her stature? Why do people take chance on who they know is after them based on their body or their money? Is it wrong, to be in a relationship or get married to someone believing that probably there is something he or she does that they will change in the future? This sexual issue have lured a lot of people into extramarital affairs. How do we bring solution to this when you are married to someone that cannot sexually satisfy you? A lot of people are not advocating for the ladies. Now, instead of cheating on your man who cannot satisfy you sexually, you can use a dildo. What is your take? So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you. As we all know, this is Couples Eve, embodying the endless glamour of love. And the theme of this month's edition is Men Are Scum. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that quote, all right? And most men will also say what? Fear women. Whatever women do to men, that makes men to fear women, all right? So I'm here to read a story for us, and the story reads, in the royal kingdom of Eve, a forbidden love blossomed between Frank, the king's guard, and Shirley, his sister's friend. Frank's desire for Shirley consumed him, and he became ill with longing. Desperate for a solution, he confided in his friend Bado, who devised a sinister plan to manipulate Shirley into Frank's hands. Frank pretended to be ill and requested that Shirley prepare food for him in his bedroom. Shirley, unaware of the deceit, obliged, bringing the food to Frank's room, to his bed. As she approached him, Frank's lust overpowered him and he grabbed her, requesting to have sex with her. Shirley pleaded with him to stop, but he refused to listen, and eventually they had sex. After the assault, Frank's love turned to hatred and he ordered Shirley to leave. Shirley, devastated and humiliated, begged him not to send her away, but Frank callously refused to listen. As she departed, Frank called Bado to escort her out, leaving Shirley shattered and heartbroken. This is the royal kingdom of Eve. You see the story of Frank and Shirley, and Frank was in love with Shirley. He just needed her around, and he called his friend Bado and he helped her to find a way to get Shirley to come to the house. Now, from that concept, Shirley would have believed that Frank is in love with her. How do I tell that I'm truly in love with someone? Or how do I tell that someone is truly in love with me? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. So if you look at that case study that we've been given, you see that from all indication, it was clear that what Frank was doing was clearly from his heart and not from his head. So he was being taken over by what he could see or what he could conceive. This was not necessarily, he wasn't using his head, because if he was definitely going to know that this was a terrain he ought not to even tread through at all in the first place. So from my own perspective, I believe that when you're in love with someone using your heart and you're not using your head, that's when you would know that you know that something is wrong. It's you're moved by what you see, and even if you know that it is wrong, you are still giving yourself a reason to go ahead and say, okay, what I feel I'm doing is right. It's like you're rationalizing the wrong thing. So at this point, you know that your heart is telling you yes, but your head is telling you clearly that no, this is not what you ought to do. So it's not a thing of you knowing exactly, being convinced that this is the right thing for me to do. He knew there and then that what he was doing was wrong, but he was just trying to rationalize and give himself a reason to go ahead with what he was doing, because he had to even ask his friend. He needed the validation of his friend to give him an avenue to let what his plan come to pass. So that's what I.
If you are talking about the heart and the head, I want to believe that the heart now is talking about his feelings. All right.
Yes, his feelings. Yes.
Now, what he's feeling. Is there anything wrong when a young man says, I love her because of her stature, because of the way she talks, because of the way she looks? Because in the modern society we live in now, a lot of people fall in love based on what they see. I want to get married to a girl that is educated, that fair, tall, handsome, young man with six-pack and all those things. Is that foundation wrong?
So that's what I'm saying, that foundation is wrong. When you're loving someone for mundane things, definitely you know that is definitely wrong. You can't, like, what if that the six packs fades? What happens after that? What if those looks fade? What happens after that? When you've got three packs, what do you do after that? If I'm longing for you, if I say I love you because of what I can see, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. If that thing disappears, what happens? That means the love I have is conditioned on those things that I can see. So once those things fade away, obviously that love fades away. So when you're talking about love, this is what you have. You're thinking straight. You know,
Comes from the point of reason.
from the point exactly. It's not coming from your heart. The heart is part of our body, but the heart is something that can be swayed at any point in time. So that's my own position. That it's not love is not something that is a feeling. The feeling can go, but love is something that must. It's something you're doing intentionally. It's not something that is coming from how you feel now. That's my position.
So, in other words, I'm trying to know that I'm making the right decision. I go by reason, not by feeling.
Yes, not by feeling.
When it's by feeling, there's every tendency you're going to miss it along the line. You know,
exactly.
If you look at that story, you know, the young man really felt that he loved her.
Yes.
And I won't be missing word if I say it is a function of probably the way she looked. She looked endearing. You know, so exactly. he just felt that this is all I need. You know, when people say that this is all I want in a woman, and that thing and the woman just shows up, and you feel okay, I'm going for all this, and you didn't think, you know, is this all there is, or are there more to this
to be added to this?
So the next question that takes off from this point is, well, why do people take chance of who they know is either after their body or their money? You are in a relationship, and anytime the guy is with you on phone, all he's saying is, babe, you're beautiful. The last time I saw you, I felt like I soaked, like I melted. You know, I will never cease to stop looking at you. Even when you're absent, you know, I'll pick my phone, I'll be looking at you. Like everything the guy talks about you is about your beauty. Or on the other side, as a lady, you know, when you say, why do you love this guy? I say, he provides for me. He gives me everything I want. He does this, he does that. You get, and that is really a problem, I think, that needs to be addressed. And that is where this question is coming, you know, at this point. Why do people take chance of who they know is after them based on their body or their money? What do you think about that, sir?
Thank you very much for that question too. You see, as human beings, one thing we have to agree on generally is that human beings, we are very optimistic. We are very optimistic. You know, we believe things will get better. Yes, it's a good thought. It's good to be optimistic. So, but when we're in relationships and you know there are situations where you know that this is a red flag, this person doesn't even mean well for me. But because of what you are getting from that person at that particular time, maybe the person is meeting your needs, the person is making you happy at that particular point in time, that need is being met at that particular point in time, and you're okay. And you have this optimistic feeling, you're optimistic that, okay, this person is going to change. You know deep down in your mind that, man, this is not what I want. This is not the right thing. This is not my ideal. But because that person is meeting those needs at that time, you're just optimistic. That's human beings for you. If you pick 10 people, 9 of them will tell you that tomorrow is going to be good.
And let me cut you in there. You know, you talked about someone going to change. Now, is it wrong, you know, to be in a relationship or get married to someone believing that probably there's something he or she does that they will change in the future? Is it a wrong mindset?
For me, it's a wrong mindset, because the honest truth is, I don't belong to the school of thought that anybody can change anybody. If that person doesn't have a conviction that I need to change, nobody's going to change because of any person. It will be a wrong notion for me to go ahead with a spouse being optimistic that person is going to change. What if that person doesn't change? What do? I'm already stuck in a relationship or stuck in a marriage with that person.
Yeah, so in a situation that the couple are already married now, and there's something one party is doing the other party does not like, is it advisable for her to keep saying that he will change, or she will change, or should you just live in the reality and accept this is who you got married, and probably pray about his weakness or her weakness and just leave?
So for me, like the first thing I said human beings are very optimistic. We are very optimistic in nature. So if you're already married to someone and there are some tendencies, there are some traits which you don't like, yes, it's possible that person is going to change, but is it certain? You have no certainty towards that. So for you to have taken the steps to get into that matrimonial union with that person, obviously there's a bigger picture. There are more than one things which make you comfortable to want to be in that relationship than just one or two traits that you don't like about that person. So if that person changes based on your optimism, well, that's a plus for you. But if you're unlikely that person doesn't change, it still boils down to what I said earlier on, that the chances of someone changing because of you, those chances are very, very, very slim. That's my own position. Although you can find yourself in a situation where you yourself that is anticipating for someone to change, there are some things you can work on yourself that will make that person not seriously to change for you, but make that person start doing things differently.
Okay.
And you now find changes.
All right. So what we are saying is, in essence, is that it is wrong to be in a relationship where you know that the relevant order is just there because of what you offer them. A lot of ladies are in a relationship and they know that the guy is just there because she offers him sex. A lot of guys are in a relationship and they know the lady is there simply because he offers her money, sort her needs. And this is a red alert. Trying to sustain a relationship with what you give. You can't sustain a relationship with what you give. When someone comes to love you, they love you by default. Love should not be a function of what someone is bringing to you that you are benefiting.
Exactly.
Now, once it comes to a point of, okay, this is what he does for me, this is what she does for me, and that is why I'm in this relationship, by implication, the day that individual ceases to do those things, something has already happened to that relationship.
Exactly.
Why don't people give heed to red light when they see someone? Now, all these things we are saying, we are just discussing now. But the truth is, when people find themselves in relationship, they don't give heed to these things. When you see, I've talked with several people, even the married ones, and there's something that is constant. They'll say, I saw this thing while we were single. I saw this thing. She often did it while we were single. He was always doing this. So why is it difficult to give heed to red lights, during relationship? What do you have to say about that?
You see, the concept of love is blind is the foundation of this. Because when you say that love is blind, you're actually not seeing anything. The red light, the red flags, the danger mines, you don't see them. So at that point in time, you are carried away with what it still brings us back to the question, the earlier question you asked about why people will see red lights, will see red flags and still want to go ahead because the person is providing. So it just shows that when you're at that position, you turn blind eyes to it. It's not like they don't know. We know.
Yeah.
We know that this thing is these are some traits this person has which I don't like. But because of that concept that maybe everybody's getting married, this person is making me, this person is doing this like that thing for me at this particular point in time, and I'm benefiting from it, I decide to want to turn my eyes to it. So there's nobody that's going to tell you that he sees those red flags that didn't know. But he or she decide to just turn a blind eye to it, being optimistic that this person is going to change later on. And oftentimes it doesn't happen.
You are saying that people should accept responsibility for the decisions they make in marriages.
Exactly.
All right. Now, if you look at the story we read, that first paragraph, this Frank and Shirley, and Frank invited Shirley, and Shirley already would have known. There's no how she wouldn't have known that this guy was after her body. You see a lady leave her house, goes to a guy's house, spend weekends in the guy's house, cook his food, wash his clothes, and do everything. And all she knows that this guy is worried about me because of my body. And she offers himself, hoping and thinking that someday he's going to put the ring in my fourth finger. And this thing goes along for 2-3 years. Some people go to as far as 5-7 years. And suddenly along the line, the guy marries someone else. Now, what do you expect to hear from the girl? She just conclude that men are scums. And you won't try to convince that lady because what? She will give you practical proof, the things she has sacrificed for the man. We've heard stories of young men that train a young lady in school. And after training her in school, this girl will graduate and marry someone else. And you ask her why. She said because the guy's intellectual capacity is not at her own level. And a guy will not just say fair woman. When we see people make this statement, are we not saying that they are responsible for the acts or the things that they brought themselves through? Is it wrong to give in your all to someone else in a relationship? Or is it right to have done it? Is it really true that those men were scum? Or is it you who did not use your head but use your feelings, your heart in the process? And that is basically where I'm trying to draft out from this first paragraph of the story, that this lady knew exactly what this man wanted. And she went ahead and he went ahead with his friend and brought this girl. And this girl accepted coming to his house. Can you please help me tell the ladies whether it is right or wrong to sleep over in a man's house?
For me, I'll tell you point blank that it's wrong. It's wrong. And it brings me to this point where I want to say that in any relationship, and I will support that position that men are scum, that any girl is going to say men are scum because of his own personal experience. But my reason is very, very, very simple. Were you able to define the relationship at the onset when you started? Because you have to there should be accountability. Before I say I want to start dating you or I want us to move to any level, have we spoken, have we determined, that we agree that this is where we are? Have you agreed that this is what we want to do? Even when you are dating the first 2, 3, 4 months, you know that you're at a particular stage. When you are moving to another stage, you're getting to a year, you're getting to 2 years, have you still been able to sit down to say, okay, where are we? What are we doing? Even when you're moving to marriage, these are discussions you have to always bring up at every stage you feel that you've taken some positive steps or you've moved ahead with someone. You have to sit down to define what it is that you're doing. Are we friends? Are we friends for benefit? Are we moving towards marriage? What are we doing? So at that point in time, when you define what it is that you're doing, you can't now come and start blaming somebody for any woes that have come your way.
That's right.
So you should take responsibility for whatever it is that happens to you. You've not been able to sit down to define your relationship with whoever it is that you are with, both men, both male, both female, vice versa.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So let's quickly go into the next question we have here. Is it right for love to consume someone before marriage? And I know you have already answered it. The answer is no.
You're correct.
So there is no basis, for someone to say, when people are consumed with love, they do things they are supposed to do in marriage before marriage. When we talk about people offering sex during relationship, these are things you're supposed to do in marriage. When you talk about paying someone has rent, paying someone school fee,
why would you want?
Why would you? Are you doing it because you just want to help the person? Are you doing it because you are going to get married to the person? Once the reason is that you are getting married to him or her, you're already on the wrong side.
That's why I said you have to define your relationship. I'll give you a personal experience because, like my wife, I knew my wife. I'm a lawyer. I knew my wife as she was my client. At that point in time, when it was just lawyer-client relationship, I won't call her and ask her that is she eating. She won't call me and ask me how I'm doing. It was basic. It was strictly official. But by the time we finished the legal matters we had, and God opened my eyes to see the beauty that has been around me, things changed. So at that point in time, we had to sit down to define what it is that we wanted to do. And I thank God that life fell in pleasant places for us.
Didn't she call you a stingy man?
well, she would have had to call me a stingy man when I was a lawyer. So, but by the time we started dating, she could look at me and say, "Oh, so things we were able to define what we wanted to do at that point in time." By the time we started dating and launch, there was reason for me to want to do that. But while I was a lawyer and she was my client, I won't cross that line to ask that.
Okay, sir. See, in the second paragraph of the story we narrated in the Royal Kingdom of Eve, we said that Frank pretended to be ill and requested Shelley to prepare food for him in his bedroom. Shelley, unaware of the deceit, obliged, bringing food to Frank's room, to his bed. As she approached him, Frank's lust overpowered him and he grabbed her, requesting to have sex with her. Shelley pleaded with him to stop, but he refused, and eventually they had sex. So one question I'm having for you here, first of all, is this. Well, are there signs to know when you are being deceived in a relationship? Are there signs?
The answer is yes, there are signs. We are human beings. You can decipher when someone is not being true to you. Your instincts will tell you. They will tell you when someone is not being truthful to you. You will know when someone is telling you something. I can't take that person's words or what that person has said. There's a pattern in the way there's a pattern of deceit with the way that person is going to be dealing with you. This is, when someone is being evasive with you, so you are talking to someone, the person is able to give you the responses that are concrete, that are substantial for you to hold on to. Obviously, you know that person is deceiving you. In fact, this is something I think you can know from your first week or second week. In fact, from some days of even.
So are you saying that people actually walk into this error intentionally? Like a lady is dating a man and she visits him regularly, sleeps over. Like this one we just read and said, make food for me, bring it to my room, and she carried the food and brought to his room. She know that this guy has a crush on her, a strong crush on her, and yet she's doing all those things. Is it wrong as a lady to really love someone and he has this strong crush on you and you're hoping that he doesn't really execute that crush? A lady will say, okay, I went out with him on a date and we got to his house and he raped me. But you're the one that went to his house and slept over in his house, all right? Are you going to blame the lady? Or are you going to blame the man who couldn't control himself? Are you going to blame the both of them?
Both of them are to be blamed, because that's why I talked about defining what it is that is between both of them at inception. So if you're able to define it and you know that if this is going to lead to marriage, why would I be sleeping in his house in the first instance?
When a man is crushed on a lady, he can promise anything.
Yes.
He can promise I'm going to marry. He can even propose to her. Because we need to understand this point. When ladies come and say men are scum, or when men come say fear lady, that means there have been deception in somewhere. Someone is being, how do I get to the point to know that this person is deceiving me? And you've said something that is very vital, in the course of our discussion, using your head, reason, thinking. Why is it that whenever I come to this guy's house, he wants me to sleep over? A man who genuinely wants to marry you, what he should be thinking about anytime you come around shouldn't be for you to sleep over. And that is the gospel truth. I think we need to talk to ladies too to understand this. Whenever what a man is seeking for you is about his own self, he wants you to do something that helps him become better, you are actually seen on a time bomb. You're a guy, you are in a relationship with a lady, and all she's doing every time is, I need money for my hair, I need money for my this, I need money for my that. She never talks about you, how your investment, your savings, your plans, your future. She's not really concerned about you, but about what you give to her. I think it's not be a crime to let guys know that that girl is not right for you. You are
Exactly.
dating somebody, and all the person is doing is taking from you. I've heard several guys that got married, and some of them will tell you something true. That when they were dating the lady and they were trying to spend, the lady will tell them, "Why are you spending this much? Why not save this money?" There are lines when you use your head, when you use your reason to know that, you see, are there more to these things? Why are you in this relationship in the first place? What is she bringing to the table? These are cogent questions I believe every guy, every woman should ask herself. That once you are in a relationship with someone and you calculate the percentage of everything he or she does, and most of them are, and do this for me, what will do this for that, come to my house, wash my clothes, do this, buy that, you are sitting on a time bomb. For this lady to have known that the guy said, "Oh, I took food, I'm not feeling fine, bring it to my room," and she brought the food and brought it even into his room, and the guy started making sexual advances. So I think it is time to let people know you need to deliver yourself from bringing yourself to a position where you start saying that men are scum, or that you should fear ladies. It is a simple proof that you did not use your head. It's a
That's
simple proof
correct.
that you did not use your head. You want to say something, sir?
I said that's correct because you'll be able to know from the pattern. Even when you have friends of the same sex, talk less
Yeah.
of a friend from the opposite. You know what who is genuine and who is not genuine. So from the get go, if you're able to ascertain what it is that both of you are into, it's going to be easy for you to know if this person is deceiving me or not. It's
Yeah.
very very clear.
All right. Thank you, sir. So that tells us the next question. You see, a lot of men, they are supposed to have gotten married now, but they are not married because the lady they intend getting married to is already acting as a wife. Yeah. So how do we let people know? How do we tell ladies? Because you see a lady say, I was counseling a lady that she's dated this guy for 7 years, and then they now realize that she's AS. Both of them were AS after 7 years of dating. How do you stay in the dating pool for 7 years with someone and you just feel okay with that person? Because you've gone to a level of living in his house, wearing his clothes, snapping in his house. You feel that you're in your home already. How do we tell singles that these things are wrong? These things are wrong. Is there any language you can use for that, sir?
It still takes us back to being able to define what at every stage your relationship is progressing. What are we doing? What do we want to do? If you take it from the foundation where you just started dating and you're able to define what it is that you people really want to do, you have no reason to sleep in the fellow's house. You have no reason to start living in the person's house. You have no reason to be wearing his clothes.
And even
You
if
have no
you
reason to even be expecting from him.
and even if you decide to sleep in his house,
You
make
have no
sure.
reason to sleep in his house.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, even if in your legal term you say assuming but not conceding.
Conceding.
All right. So even if a lady decides to sleep in that guy's house, let her make up her mind that she's not going to use that as a reason in the event the relationship doesn't go well. Because when we talk about premarital sex is about two people agreeing to have sex together.
Yes.
You agree. So it's not as if anything that happens tomorrow, you now say the young man took advantage of you. If you know you're going to cry that he took advantage of you, don't even
Don't
venture. Don't even venture. So if you are saying, okay, it doesn't matter, you're an adult, all this thing we are saying here does not make sense to you, and you just want to have sex with him. Like some other lady, I was talking to a group of ladies, some years ago when I was still a Sunday school teacher, and I was shocked. One of them, a choir member, said that she must have sex before marriage. Then how will she know that the man's capacity, to handle her sexually after she gets married? And that is the reason that she must have sex before marriage. Now, people like that go about having sex before marriage. You sleep with Mr. A and he breaks up. You sleep with Mr. B and he breaks up. You sleep with Mr. C and he breaks up. You now generalize that men are scum because of your own foolishness. So we need to let people understand. If you make a choice to have premarital sex, own it to yourself that you are doing it for you, not because you're trying to satisfy someone else. Because you are trying to satisfy someone else, just know that you can never please a man with sex. If a man works, you can get it from that side. And the same thing is applicable to men. It's applicable to men. When you are spending for a lady, just do it because you are just doing it from your own good conscience.
Exactly. Because someone else is richer than you, that guy will spend much more than you are spending.
Very well. You know, we saw there's something trend on social media today about a lady that is in a relationship with a young man, and one of these superstars called her for. They went for an outing. He spent well over 5 million on her. And when he was asking the lady, "Are you in a relationship?" the lady said no. And
I saw
when
it this morning.
you know,
My
and
wife and I were laughing about it.
you know, and the young man, I saw the chat. The young man was interacting with a friend that he already spent over 450,000 to pay the medical
Oh,
bills
God.
of this girl's mom.
Wow, exactly.
So why do you spend so much on someone believing you are going to get married to her? You know, it's a great thing people will do, and it's right time to let people to begin to understand. If you're of the school of thought that men are scum, that means there is something wrong with your mindset. That means you being a foolish party
Exactly.
all around. If you're the
Yes.
school of thought that fear women, that means you have been a foolish person all along. Because if you have used your reason all this while, you won't be a victim of these things. And meanwhile, you need to let sensitize people to know why you complain. People are getting happily married. People
Very
are
well.
enjoying their homes. People that use their head and not their feelings, they are enjoying their home. They've seen their
Very
partner
well.
weaknesses and they accepted it even before marriage. You know, it's not something you walk in blindly. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, I have a comment because once a comment comes in, I'll just read it up. I think
Read
family
it.
plays a huge role on these things. A child, boy or girl, properly trained, properly taken care of spiritually, emotionally, physically, and otherwise, will not fall victim of being a mugu. The message we have is that parents have a role to play in these things. And another question I used to ask now, most of the Gen Z children, how many of them are willing to learn? You know, and interesting thing is that most really what we are saying here, after this show, you still see some people who go to their boyfriend's house.
Very annoying.
All right, so sir, what will you say? I know you already make your take on this. Premarital sex, what's your take?
The Bible is very clear on that. It's a no, for no reason. For no reason should that happen. Those that ventured into it, they know the consequences. So there's even no rationale for that. The Bible is very clear. That's the foundation. So it's a no.
All right. So, like what I narrated something someone said during a Sunday school class,
Yes,
and most
I
people
heard
say
you.
that some people say they are not sexually satisfied in their marriage, like couples who are married, and some of
Yes,
them will say, "Oh, like they try to do a Christian relationship stuff, no sex before marriage." And then you now get married and discover that your man is a 2 minutes man. That's the quote they use for it. And I believe also this sexual issue have lured a lot of people into extramarital affairs. How do we bring solution to this when you are married to someone
so
that cannot sexually satisfy you?
so marriage is it's about is partnership. If where one person is lacking behind, it's the job of the other person to pull that person up. So if you find out that your spouse is a 2 minute man or whatever it is that is labeled as, yes, therapy is the job of the other partner to make the other person see reason for us to do this together, not for you to go and sort yourself out. It's a partnership. So
Now,
for example, the person that said
if you're saying that partnership, you know,
yeah.
a lot of people are not advocating for the ladies. Now, instead of cheating on your man who cannot satisfy you sexually, you can use a dildo. What is your take on using?
I've, I've read the Bible from the beginning to the end. I don't think I've seen any advent of dildo there. But talking about reality, if marriage is about partnership, it's also what the couple agree on. Before you even decide to start talking about using the dildo to cure that problem in quotes, that problem still remains there. So that problem has to be sorted out first before you even say you want to resort to any other thing, because that's cheating. That's been unfair. You are satisfying yourself. Your
At the
spouse who
expense of
you
your partner?
tell me 2 minutes man, your spouse who you tell me 2 minutes man is still wallowing in that same problem. So you've neglected him. That problem is still there. So for me, that you need to seek help together. There's therapy. There are different things that can be done. When you sort that problem out, both of you can decide whether you want to move to the stage of using sex toys together, not alone. That's a story for another day. It's going to be a topic on your show for another day. It's not for today.
All right, sir. All right. Thank you for that. So I want to also add up to it for also understand that marriage is all about compromise. And people must be able to accept the fact that you are not going to find someone that is 100/100. If you find someone that
That's
is 100
correct.
over 100, there is something wrong somewhere. It's
That is a
either
wish.
it's either the
Don't do
person
it, your wish.
it's either the person is not providing enough, or the person is not available enough, or the person is not satisfying enough, or the person is not caring enough, or the person is not thoughtful enough. There is just something about your partner that would be a minus. You know, and for
Yes.
those that look at, we are talking about sex now. You get married to someone now because you try to stay faithful as a single person. And not get married, he or she cannot satisfy it sexually. You must now accept the reality that marriage is about compromise. To a level, you have to clean your head about some of your sexual escapade before you came to Christ, about some of the things you explored, and begin to accept the person to the best of your ability. Even while we try to do, what they say, but you must accept if your partner is coming short, don't paint it on his face, don't paint it on her face. No, one of the problem we have in marriages today is that people often paint their partner's weaknesses to their faces. It's just like a lady telling a man, it's not your mates that are doing this. A man telling a woman, can't you see your fellow women the way they are looking? Now you see a lot of married women doing gym, going for exercises up and down. And most of them are doing all these things because their husband is not being friendly with the way they look.
Yeah.
And
correct.
I think married couples should begin to correct those things. Make your partner feel at home when he's home. Make your partner feel at home when she's home. If you can address this point, there will also be limits to extramarital affairs that people get involved in. Once the home does not look like home again, people start seeking home where home is not. I believe we should take that to mind. Then for the singles, please don't make sexual satisfaction a priority in making choice of who to marry. Don't go into premarital sex simply because you want to find sexual. What if you find sexual satisfaction and the guy is a wife beater? So be willing to compromise something in your relationship. This is why you need to adhere to what the guest speaker have said this afternoon. Use your head and not your heart. The third part of the story is that after the assault, Frank's love turned to hatred. I begin to wonder, how does love turn to hatred? And he ordered Shelley to leave. Shelley, devastated and humiliated, begged him not to leave. And this is where I have problem because when you're giving a lot in a relationship, it becomes difficult to leave. It is one area of relationship that is really a challenge. And this is why you don't need to do more than yourself. So that when someone said that he or she wants to move on, you can simply move on without regretting. This is why I tell people, I don't see any reason why you are dating someone for 1 year and that relationship is not defined. So that in the event it's not working, both parties can decide and you move on with your life. You don't give to the extent that you are hooked. That you are not thinking, what if I leave now after all I've given? What if I leave now after all I've invested? You don't need to put yourself in that box. Now look at this young lady, and this is the story of Tamar and Amnon in the Bible. We know the story very well. 2 Samuel. When you are giving a lot into a relationship, then when the guy say he no, you are finding it difficult to leave. A lot of ladies, the guy is abusing you, he is beating you, and you are still in that relationship, and you still want to marry him. And tomorrow you come to say men are scum. Men are not scum. You are just simply the one being so foolish. You are in a relationship. Today she asked for Brazilian hair. Tomorrow she asked for Moravian hair. Next tomorrow she asked for an iPhone. Don't fear woman. You are the one that is foolish. It's time to begin to use your head and put things right in the right perspective. Sorry, I don't want to get angry because this thing is. All right. So let me quickly go this in question so we can ask this question as we begin to round up. At what point does love turn to hate? Does love ever turn to hate? I just want to know.
Once you hear people saying love turn to hate, that means it was never love at the onset. Love can never, if it's real love, there's no way it will ever turn to hate. That means it was lost.
What you are saying is incest is this. All these people are saying my ex is an animal, my ex is this, my ex is that. Does it mean they never really love themselves while they were together?
Oh no, love is it depends on what you as a person see that you call love. So if what you see as love at that time was this person was showering me with gifts, and once that person stops showering you with gifts, you see that this person doesn't love me anymore. Then that wasn't love. Love is if it's real, you will always see reason to continue to love that person,
even if you are not in the relationship.
Yes, it's just like you saying, I know the relationship of a parent to a child is different, but it is rare before you find a relationship between a parent and a child turning sour and they are saying, I don't love this person any longer. No matter how a child maltreats his or her parents, or a parent maltreats, vice versa, there will be a reason to give why that love is still there. I was listening to my pastor a couple of weeks ago, and he said he was giving an analogy about his daughter, how he loved his daughter, how he loves his daughter so much. This son used to talk to, but the daughter is not a teenager that doesn't want to talk to him any longer. But the day he's able to talk to her, he just looks at it like, I still love this child. Even that time I don't want to talk to you on the phone, I still love you.
Yeah. So it's important for people to know that if you love someone, that means you are giving to that person. and it's not a
Yes.
function of what you're going to get back.
Get back. Exactly.
So it's not that if you are in a relationship with someone, it doesn't mean you cannot help him or her. It doesn't mean you
Yes.
cannot support him or her if they have limits,
Yes.
they have to. But you don't do it based on what you're expecting to get back.
Expecting from that person. Exactly.
You are giving it that, even if, there are some of these organizations that if they want to employ you, they take you to training, even before they employ you. And they give you top-notch training. They are not even scared after that training, you might want to leave them and go to someone else.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, sir. So even after a training, you can decide to leave and you don't have anything, they will just let, and they will let you go. Ease. You get, so that same thing should be applicable when we come to talk about love. When you are giving, you give with your heart, not based on what you are willing to get back.
Yes.
Once what you are giving is dependent on what you are expecting, there is problem. That is also a problem within some Christians and God. When they give their tithe, they give their offering, it comes from their mind that because I'm going to draw something from God. And if you are not able to draw that thing as when you want to draw that thing, they tell you that God is not real.
Not real.
All right. So I want to encourage us to understand that if truly you are in to love someone, give them to the capacity of what you can do. Once it's going beyond your capacity that you're struggling to do it, and you're trying to do it because you're trying to please that person, you're already walking in error.
Yes.
And this is not like insulting or talking down on people who are hurt presently, because we know that there are people who genuinely gave their best in a relationship, or probably didn't hear this teaching, something like this before now. And they were doing their best because they wanted to keep the relationship, because they wanted to make the marriage happen. And at the end of the day, the person broke their heart. At the end of the day, after giving their all, the person hauled them and left them for someone else. What advice can you give to such people?
Well, I'll tell you, you can't, when something like that happens, the first thing is to find a way to just trace your steps back to God, because you know that can heal you from whatever it is that you've gone through. No human being can come and start telling you that, oh, this is a strategy, or these are the steps to take for that healing to come to pass. And you find if that person the son has done that, you try as much as possible to stay away from that type of person. Stay away from that person. Get yourself engaged. Get yourself busy. And with time, that healing process is going to come, and you find yourself back in a position to get up and want to do life with the right person. And I know that is definitely going to come. I'm a living testimony about that. So I've been through some times when I thought there was no female on the face of this earth that's could bring joy or happiness to me again. But God sent someone to me. I'm with that person, and it's been joy from the first day I met this person to this very moment. And I know that's how it's going to be till the end. And I know if I can experience that, there's nobody else that can't be blessed to experience that too.
All right. So as I begin to round up with you, is there anything like love at first sight?
Well, that's a very that's a difficult word for me. I think it has to do with individuals. No story is the same. There are people that have met on the first time they set eyes on each other. I won't call it love. What I'll call it, I'll say they tend to.
A spark.
There are people that met each other. Yes, they just get to click. Permit me to use that word. And when they're able, even love is not something that comes from the get-go. There must be a click that will now create an environment for that thing called love to grow.
So there'll be a click that creates the environment for you to begin to use your head.
Exactly. So that's my position.
All right. That's right. Thank you, sir. So what we are now saying, as I begin to sum it up, is when you meet someone and there is a spark, you need to go back and use your head.
That's it.
Where people miss it a lot is when they meet that person, they don't go back to use their head. They just
get carried away and just start moving.
So you meet somebody today and there is a spark and you go for lunch. From there, you go into midnight calls. You now start chatting to 3 a.m. in the morning, and the poetry starts coming in. You get, and the late night dates start coming in. There is no time to step back and ask yourself, what are my priorities? Now, once those foundations are being destroyed, you have a problem building a sustainable relationship, because you can actually do that thing for 3 years, 5 years, and you've not really laid foundation for anything that is concrete.
Right. That's correct. You have to define it.
Yes. So, and having said that, number two, if you are heartbroken, or if you are hurt, or you are in a marriage and you are not finding fulfillment, don't live on the assumption fear women or that men are scum. The truth is that living on that assumption can never bring out the best for you.
Never.
Life is guided by spirits. Once you have made a resolution in your heart that men are scum, if you are single, you are only going to be attracting men who are scum. Once you have put it in your mind that men are not to be trusted, You are going to be meeting
You
people
won't
that cannot be trusted.
exactly.
Once you made up your mind that women, all the babes in the society now, none of them is ready for marriage. All of them are these. The only women you are going to be meeting are those kind of women. And that makes you begin to realize that you've been in 1, 2, 3 relationship and the same things have played out. There is obviously something wrong with you, not with the relationship. So if you've dated 1, 2, 3 people and you see the same thing playing out, I encourage you to put a pause. Go back and have a review. Ask yourself, are there things you are believing that is affecting you? Are there things you are doing that is affecting you? And begin to change that mindset. Because the truth is that men are actually not scum. Men are actually not perfect. You don't need to fear women. They were created in the image and likeness of God too. And when you find the right person, you begin to realize that most of these things that fly out on social media aren't really true. All right. And I want to take that. If there's anything we are to take home from this show this afternoon, is just to deal with that mindset. If you see it anywhere, or you have friends that say it, or you see it on social media, please don't agree to it, because you're attracting things that you don't like, into your very own life. Very last word from you, Barrister Femi Akinshete, sir.
Yeah, for me, I use myself as an example, and I'm just trying to say that generalizing, it's not going to take you anywhere. Just like you rightly said, you have done things differently and wrongly. It's for you to find a place in your heart to decide to want to reassess your past few relationships and able to get it right. And I'm sure if you're able to take that course and do it, you'll be able to find yourself on the right standing and not generalize and say men are scum or that I should fear women. Our mothers are women and we don't fear them. Our fathers are men and we don't refer to them as being scum. We are not scum. I'm speaking for the men. And I also speak for the women too. Don't fear women. I have a woman beside me, so I don't fear her.
He has the apple of his eyes beside him.
Yes, I do. I do.
Thank you so much. I want us to take this thing home for every one of us. I know marriages can be difficult at times. Marriage can be really, really difficult, And if there's any married person that will say that it is everyday good, the person will be lying to you. But the question is, what do you do when the storms comes? How do you deal with those realities? Do you come to the point that you want to quit the marriage, or do you come to the point that you try to do your best and know there can always be a solution? Are there things you are going to will to compromise? Are there things you are going to will to let go? Are there things you are going to will to forgive? Are there things you are going to will to do yourself? Because some say, because he stopped doing this, me also have stopped doing this. You are cracking the home. If your marriage is designed to be for better, for worse, then you are going to make sacrifices. And sacrifices are never always pleasant. Like I always say, it is only those who are willing to pay the price that will earn the prize. If you can't pay the price, then there's nothing that you're going to get out of it. Mind you, your children are watching. Your children are watching you. The way your marriage turns out is going to define to a great extent how their own future. You read the comments one of us made here that some of these things are based on upbringing. When parents don't consciously raise their children up properly, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So as a parent, especially as a father or a mother, you have a lot to do. Even when things are not going right in your marriage, the only question you should be asking yourself, how do I make it right? Remember, that man was the man you said I do on the altar. That woman is the woman you asked, will you marry me someday? Let that love, let that thing that made you start this process from day one be the guiding light to lead you through the difficult times. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, when you have spent 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years in this process, at the end of the day, you come out knowing that really it was worth the price. I encourage every one of us, and for the ones that are single, we can only talk. We cannot do more than that. Use your head. Don't use your heart. Don't use your feelings. Think, what am I going into? What is it bringing to the table? Why do I want to marry this lady? Are there things that will pass with the passage of time? Are there things that are going to be sustained despite the storms that life will bring apart? If you think about these things, it will help you to reach a conclusion that though you wanted to marry a fair girl, but the lady that is bringing these things is a dark girl. Though the guy has a pot belly and you always wanted to marry a six-pack, but with the reality of using your head, I can still manage the pot belly and just enjoy my marriage. You want to marry a tall guy, but the guy is very short, but he's very tall in wisdom and in real life situations. You must get to the point of getting rid of these feelings that might hurt you in the near future. I sit in court several times and I see couples coming to divorce, and the man is so handsome and the lady is so beautiful, and you're asking yourself why? Where did it went wrong? It is a big question. I don't know how you guys manage this thing, sir. I pray God will help you guys.
Amen.
All right. I want to say a very big thank you for being on this show this afternoon. I want to
say so much
a big thank you for all of you who have been online to be part of this show today. I want to say a big thank you to our partners. I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you. Our partner, 5G Security Limited, We say a big thank you for all you give to us. And 5G Security Limited is a company you can actually reach one stop to take care of every of your security need. Are you having events or you need facility protection, security awareness training, support, the conduct and security of incident mappings, installation and maintenance of video surveillance? You can easily get in touch with 5G Security Limited. They are just there. Their phone number is here on the screen, 0803 549 2046. 0803 549 2046. And once you get in touch with them, I can guarantee you that your needs are sorted. And finally, here is me, Impacttouch, saying thank you for being part of all. The vision behind all we're doing here is making a heaven impact on earth. And we have several projects: Couples Eve, Embodying the Endless Glamour of Love, Faith Lead, Help Out the World Initiative. We have our movie production outfit, Impacttouch Movie, and our personal consulting platform, Professional Relationship Counseling. And till the time we meet again, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for being with us. And if you have any personal issues you want to talk about, feel free to call me on my phone number 080-384-97452. 080-384-97452. Having said that, thank you everyone. And I say have a wonderful evening and a blessed second half of the year in advance. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Barrister Femi Akishete.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This is me, Impacttouch, signing out in Couples Eve, embodying the endless glamour of love. See you all. Take care.
There's a fire ablaze in my heart. This world would hear that you're the only way, the truth, and life.